You were source energy before you came into this physical body, and most of you still is source energy. And you in this physical body have a relationship. We want you to know that. We want you to feel it. We want you to sense it. We want you to tend to the relationship between you in this physical body and the source who is really you. The source who is you, present with you, aware of you, and thinking about what you're thinking about. So when source thinks about what you're thinking about and you feel negative emotion about it, that means you're thinking about it in an opposing way to the way source is thinking about it. Source is looking for the advantage. Source is seeing the well-being. Source is knowing the value of the contrast that you are living. But when you are pushing against the contrast, then you are not in vibrational sync with who you really are. So the creative process is really 3 simple steps that have morphed to 4 and now to 5. We'll talk about all of them. But it basically says that life will cause you to ask for more continually. And when you are in that phase where you are aware that something that you want is missing, so you are asking for the improvement in your life by wanting this amendment to your desires, that's what we are calling step 1. And when you are in step 1, that's usually when you're seeing a problem. It's usually when you are seeing contrast. It's usually when you're asking a strong question to which you do not know the answer. That's step 1. Step 1 is an important step, but step 1 will trip you up because it's easy for you to take your humanness, your actualness, your actionness, and give your all to step 1. You're looking around, I don't like that, I don't like that, and these are the reasons that I don't like this. I don't like it, I want it to be like that, but I don't like this. That's what step 1 is like. Step 2 is source is answering what you want. Now, if you're in step 1, strongly in step 1, asking for the improvement, asking, focused on the problem, focused on the question, then you're remaining in step 1, even though step 2 has already taken place and what you have asked for has already come to be in a vibrational reality that we've been referring to as your vortex. It's a vibrational reality. He wrote a whole book about it. A vibrational reality where everything that you're asking for is already resolved and gathered and completed and done vibrationally. But then you say, you're wise, you're smart aleck too, you're wise. You say, all right, Abraham, we'll play your silly game. I've asked the question and I accept that it has been answered, but how do I get my money out of the vortex and into the bank? How do I get my lover to come home with me now? In other words, it's very fine, this vibrational reality that you have conjured, cooked up, or maybe even imagined, Abraham. But I want the reality. I'm not asking for the vibrational version. I'm asking for the real life, see it, smell it, hear it, taste it, touch it, lick its face version. I want the reality of it. I want it to manifest for me. And we say, that's step 3. That's where you are so aware that step 2 has taken place. And you are proud of yourself for living step 1 and asking with such clarity that now you are in a place of relaxed expectation. You're in the receptive mode. You're in the mode where you are not tense and not worried. You're not struggling. You're not justifying and defending. You're not saying, I need it. You're not yearning for it. You've asked and you accept that it's given. And while you cannot see it yet, you know that it is coming. Step 3 is an attitude of faith. It's an attitude of expectation. It's an attitude of, I know I'll know it when I see it. It's an attitude of, I know it's coming. It's really a pleasant place to be. And it really is the place that you will reside most often, because life will never cause you to stop asking. And because you're going to continue to ask, you're going to continue to be in that place where you've asked for more than has manifest. So it is very good for you to get comfortable being in that mode of having asked for something that has not fully manifested, because that's the way life will eternally be for you. We love you so much, deal with it. When you get to that place where you just know that it's coming, and you don't have to know all of the details. You'll let the universe yield it to you a little bit at a time. You'll allow yourself to be in the receptive mode where you're receiving. Life is so rich and delicious when you're living like that, because there is something new for you coming into your awareness moment by moment by moment. The receptive mode, that step 3 receiving mode, that allowing mode, that is the feeling of most blessedness. When you get into that mode, you can just feel the universe wrapping arms around you and providing avenues for each and every detail that is important to you to be fulfilled. It is such a delicious state of being. When you approach anything from vibrational knowledge, it's the biggest thing that you have to overcome, even in the understanding of what we are talking about all day, every day from this platform. As we say to you, you have created a vibrational reality, and many of you have come that far with us, and you accept that there are thoughts that are the precursors to the manifestations that come. But when you are able to take that step of understanding, that from that vibrational place, which is culmination, a huge culmination of energy, so much has been accomplished in this vibrational reality. But because you can't see it yet, or hear it yet, or smell it yet, or taste it yet, or touch it yet, you don't believe it yet. Because you've been counting on your ability to observe to make it real. But when you are able to cross that platform, when you are able to make that jump where you understand that that's vibrational and it is a reality, and that reality will present itself to you in a way that is presenting itself to you in a way that you can realize it, when you adjust your mood, which means you've adjusted your frequency to allow yourself to see it and hear it and smell it and taste it and touch it, then you understand how this earth got here. Then you understand how this world is spinning in its orbit in perfect proximity to other planets. There is no way of explaining it. It was not trucked in from other planets, and it did just not appear out of nowhere. It is a creation, as is all that is upon it, you see. We want you to realize that you cannot stand in a strong awareness of the absence of something that you want and be in the receiving mode so that you have good timing of the things that you do want. We want you to consider, how is it that thoughts do turn to things? There are no pipelines from other universes or other galaxies trucking in resources to your planet. It's your thoughts that are turning to things. It's your mind expansion that is causing your reality to expand. So we want you to leave this gathering knowing for sure that you create your own reality, that law of attraction abounds, that it is always fair, that you can tell by the way you feel what you're doing in terms of your vibrational output, that you can feel whether you've closed the gap between you where you stand in your body and all that you've created, or whether you are in the receiving mode so that what's in this vortex, where all of the cooperative components of all of the things that you've been asking for have been gathered, where this vortex can be received by you and translated by you into the life experience, the relationships, the material objects, all of the things that you want, because life is supposed to feel good to you. And it's a really certain thing that if you have expanded, and you have, and if your vortex is full of all kinds of experiences and circumstances and relationships and material things that you desire, and it is, that you must be able to find a way through focus and awareness of your own guidance to be a consistent vibrational match to the vibrational reality that you've already created, so that you can manifest into this physical experience those things that you intended, just as you intended to do it, you see. You didn't come here to watch others create, and you didn't come here to fix things that are broken, and you didn't come here to fix a broken world because it isn't broken. You came here for the delicious experience of life showing you what you want, of you putting it into the vortex, of non-physical shoring it up, of law of attraction gathering all of the cooperative components to it, and of you using your guidance system to find yourself in alignment so that you're in the receptive mode, so that you can Get into that sweet spot of creation that you came to live, where ideas are flowing to you and where impulses are coming to you. And as you follow those good feeling, flowing, sweet, aligned impulses and thoughts, then manifestations begin showing up all around you as evidence of your ability to deliberately create. There's an important thing that we want to say, and then we'll open it to you and whatever you want to talk about. Unless you are aware of the potential gap between your thoughts and the thoughts of your inner being about the same thing. Did you hear that? Your inner being is having thoughts in the moment that you're having thoughts about any subject. And the way you feel is your indication of how in harmony your thoughts are with the thoughts of your inner being. When you see someone and their positive aspects are just so apparent to you, and you are just appreciating their clarity or their cleverness or their whatever, so you are tuned in to this love frequency that is really who you are, and you are feeling such appreciation for them. There's no gap between you and your inner being. You're exactly on the same vibrational wavelength, because that's how your inner being is feeling about them.
You see, you're not surrendering your desire. When you surrender, you're surrendering your resistance to your desire. You're surrendering beliefs that don't allow your desire. And the reason that we know that so emphatically, the reason we're so sure about that, is because we know that as life caused you to ask and desire, that those desires are valid and they remain. Once the desire is born, Source supports it all the way out to its full fruition. And so you can't stop desiring. You're not surrendering your desire. You're just surrendering anything that's keeping you from it, like struggle and trying too hard and defending yourself and rationalizing and justifying and trying too hard and efforting. It's those things that you're surrendering. We just love it when you get to the place that you can't do anything else to fix something, because that's when you finally, usually only then, begin doing the things that work anyway. And the things that work anyway are all about energy and thought and alignment and emotion. In this concept of turning the vibration to the thought and the thought to the thing, in that process of turning thoughts to things, the first manifestation is an emotional one. So when you start having emotions about something, something's beginning to turn to a thing. So if the emotions feel good, then encourage it, perpetuate, stay right on that subject, poke around at that theme, encourage it. But if the emotion doesn't feel good, then focus somewhere else. Try to find other things to focus about, because that's how thoughts turn to things. Thoughts turn to things by attention to them.
So the word surrender, and I know it's surrendering the things that don't get me where I want to go, but is there another word that I can use to describe?
Well, the word that we've been using for as long as Esther's been allowing us to flow through her is allow. And what is it that you're allowing? You're allowing your connection, you're allowing your power, you're allowing your clarity, you're allowing your true desire, you're allowing your receptiveness, you're allowing yourself to be in the receptive mode. You're allowing the cells of your body to receive. You're allowing well-being. It's not an easy thing for humans to give in to their own worthiness, to surrender to your worthiness, to surrender to what's good. And part of it's because of lack of trust of what you're surrendering to. In other words, usually when an army surrenders to another army, there's torture involved or something. And so the idea of surrendering, so you got to trust what you're surrendering to before you're going to be willing to surrender.
Right.
So you're surrendering to the goodness that is all that is. You're surrendering to your own well-being. You're surrendering to your natural resources. You're surrendering to the clarity and profound perfection of your own desire that you've carved out of life.